that?
No.
Now you see why, Kurt?
Yeah. Nasty.
You pull that top one. Disgusting.
Yeah, I would have taken it, lowered the back end a little bit.
Even if you do that, you still get all that oil in that little pocket.
Really?
In the bottom of the pan that starts flowing out no matter what you do. Like if you could tip the front end of the bike up to drain it out, then yeah, it would work. Alright, pretty much we got 3 qualifiers today. Our first round of qualifying will be a regular qualifier. Second round will be finishing up the second or August race that happened that got rained out back in August. So hopefully first round we qualify with the 699 and hopefully go from there.
Yes. Ken Stotz, 4-time national champion in Pro Street class. When we originally started the class, it was called Unlimited Shootout. Basically, how I got my start with Honda is I'd won my second national championship in 1998 and beat the factory Kawasaki team. And the factory representative from Kawasaki, John Hoover, came up to me and he wanted to talk to me. He wanted to have a meeting. I thought, great, I'm going to have a full Kawasaki ride. And when we had the meeting, the first thing he said to me is he wanted me to ride for Honda. I thought that was strange because Honda hadn't been involved in drag racing since the Russ Collins Top Fuel days, and they did very well. But that was 1980s, and this is 1999.
Okay.
So he says that all the factories want to be here. Suzuki's here, Kawasaki's here, and Honda has shown an interest that they want to be involved in all forms of motorsports, revolving around motorcycles. So I had a meeting with the head of the Honda Riders Club at Honda, and he liked what we did. And within a year later, we had a program together, and that was 2000. I built my first Blackbird, which was an amazing motorcycle.
Okay.
And in 2001 and 2, we won the national championship back to back.
Wow.
And then they started penalizing for ET and mile per hour and innovation, and so it got tougher from there. When you get to the top, they want to shoot you down, but that's part of the game.
Right.
In 2005, Honda was not going to be importing the Blackbird anymore, so they asked me to switch over to the CBR 1000. And I knew that would be a little bit of a struggle since you're giving up basically 40% of the cc's. The big bore bikes are around 1400 cc's, and ours is 998, so that's basically 40%. That's a lot to give up. And I was only 172 pounds, but that would still be a lot for that bike to carry. So for the first year, I set the national record on it at 731, but I went through 3 motors doing it. It was tough. The more I learned about the 1000, the more I learned how to keep it together. And then the nicest thing is my son Frank came along and was of the age then where he wanted to ride, and he's only 130 pounds. I would never be 130 pounds. So even no matter what I did. So basically we could shave 40 pounds off the bike, and as long as he was able to ride, then things would work good. And his first time out, he went from never going faster than a 10.0 on a bone stock Honda 1000 to a 780 in 4 passes.
Wow.
So he had a real steep learning curve,
Yes,
but he did very, very well. And obviously you've seen the success we've had. First 6-second turbo bike, and nobody expected that to be a Honda, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
So first 200 mile an hour pro street bike record holder was me on a Blackbird.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of people didn't expect this of Hondas, but and I don't know why. It's the best engineered bike in the world.
Oh.
It's just not as flashy maybe as like a Kawasaki, and people like that, especially drag races like flashy.
Flashy bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Suzuki's.
Yeah.
Okay. Could we talk about the, if you want, the power plant that you have now?
Well, for the first 8 years, we used turbocharged 1000 on racing gas, and it did really well. But it was as we would beat everybody to the 8th mile, and then we just ran out of horsepower. And if we got beat, it's because they passed us in the last 8th mile of the quarter mile. So the first half we were killer, and then we were giving up to basically big horsepower. When methanol was allowed, then I said, okay, what methanol can do for us is allow us to raise the compression, give us some of the torque that we're missing, and extend the range of the turbo, because it'll be able to run at a cooler intake temp so we can run the turbo harder. And so far from what we've seen, well, we used to make 470 horse on 30 pounds of boost on gas, and now we made 470 horse on 24 pounds of boost.
Wow.
We haven't pushed it past that, but generally when we're racing, we run it up to 34 pounds of boost.
Okay.
So that's going to be well over, probably in the 550 range.
550 range. Okay.
So we'll be about, that'll put us right about 1-to-1 horsepower. 1 horsepower per pound of bike and rider. Because Frank weighs 555 bike and rider.
Right.
And I think at the 32 to 33 pound boost level will be 1-to-1.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And today's competition, Frank was telling me that it's a makeup race for August.
The August race got rained out. We were qualified, I think, either 4th or 5th. So we'll make one qualifier this morning. Our first one will be for for this weekend's race. And then on the second qualifier, it'll be a qualifier for this weekend's also, but we'll be paired up against whoever we were going to be racing in the first round eliminations at the last race.
Okay.
So the second and third qualifiers will be elimination rounds also for the August race.
Oh. Okay.
And then they'll be down to only 3 pair left to go, the semifinals and finals, and they can finish that pretty easy before the end of this race.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully we're in it.
Yes. And $6.99 to qualify?
Well, that's what I've set the computer and set all the programs in the bike for. From what we see, we've run a 122 60 foot and a 312 to the 330. It started spinning after that, but that was yesterday and the track wasn't as good as it'll be today. So those numbers I think we can improve on a little bit, and the first round should be somewhere around a 699.
Great.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. Best of luck to you today.
Well, thank you.
And the cameras will be following you all the way through.
I appreciate it.
All right.